Alright guys, got the Dmax in the shed today as part of the major service, just checking over everything, the suspension and brakes and stuff. Starting with the rear, let's get under it. First thing I'm checking out is the shocks. First you just want to check for any leaks, if the shock's leaking itself, and then the rubbers that mount it on, make sure they're not loose and worn out. Then moving on to the shackle pin bushes on each side of the leaf springs. Usually if they're worn out, you'll see the spring pins will be off center, or you can see parts of the worn out bush hanging down from where they belong. Also, you want to look for any broken leaves in the spring pack. Then to check your brake lining, just remove the cap over here. And it doesn't hurt to jack it up from the diff, undo the handbrake and then spin, just so you can see which one's the drum. The drum will spin with the wheel. Then next to that is how much wear you have left. And then next to the wear pad is the frame of the shoe. Now I've got a hectic secondary tank that I made, and a secondary battery and an electric fuel pump to transfer the fuel. So I made this little base behind the diff that I got to check out with all those mount rubbers and stuff. Then I check the spare tyre, make sure that it's solid and not too loose. Then here I'm checking the brake lining on the other side. Over here's what I've got going on with my ute, pretty far from standard here. Up here's got the secondary fuel filter and the electric pump with the battery, and also a tap so I can fill up jerry cans or fuel filters. Then check the tail shaft unis for wear rotationally. And the manual Dmaxes do have a tail shaft center bearing, and mine is pretty shattered. I got a new one waiting, that's for another video. And check this seal here, that mine kind of needs replacing, and make sure it's not moving up and down too much on that uni. Then you got to look around for any other weird leaks or cracks anywhere. Your exhaust mounts, and then sort of moving on to the front. Again, looking for any leaks there. There's a common rear main kind of leak there, but nothing major. Check your four-wheel drive shaft for wear there, and make sure it gets greased. Checking the front diff and power steering rack for any leaks or anything not looking right. Then over to the front side here, we got all your control arm bushes, tie rod ends. Look for any worn boots, and I've got a pretty serious angle going on here with the 4-inch lift. Then you got your shock as well, the bush on the bottom of the shock they can wear out, sway bar links, ball joints. This one here is pretty nasty. Checking the upper control arm bushes up there. Lower control arm bushes, and just any bits on the frame looking for cracks. Here I'm checking out the body mounts. Make sure the front hub doesn't sound weird with the bearing, and then make sure your rotors aren't cracked or have excessive wear. And then in here you can see your pads lining running up against the rotor, and then next to that is the steel part of the pad. Moving over to the other side, I got the wheel on to check a few things. Mainly just pressing up against it to see if there's any play in the wheel bearings. And then I also rock it as if I'm steering it left to right, and you can feel for a little bit of play in the steering rack ends, or even the tie rod ends. Hopping in the cab, you just flick the key on, look for any weird lights on, make sure it's all normal. I don't have the gear stick on mine at the moment, that's definitely not normal. But moving on to the handbrake, you want to sort of drop it down all the way, bring it up 7 to 9 clicks you're hoping for, and if it goes for any more, you'll need to do a brake adjustment, which is for another video. Here I'm rocking the steering wheel, making sure there's no free play. Check a few electrical things, make sure the windows work and the mirrors electrically adjust and everything. Check out the dimmer switch. Just a quick one, recommend lifting up the back and spinning the wheel around to just listen out for the wheel bearings, see if you hear anything unusual. Back in the cab, you can check all the lights out as well. It should be done every once in a while to make sure you got none out. Make sure the hazard button works. Put it in reverse with the key on, and then press on the brake pedal. Also check for the brake pedal play. If the pedal goes too far down with the engine off, it also suggests your brakes need adjusting. Over to the engine bay, just check out for any leaks. Make sure your brake fluid reservoir there is filled up to where it should be in range. You shouldn't top it up as long as it's not below minimum. You don't have to top it up to max. Has to do with your front brake wear. Then you check your coolant reservoir. That can be topped up if you like, if it is a bit low. Power steering reservoir over here. Making sure for no leaks over there. Make sure the battery's mounted firm. And checking the fuel filters if they're leaking or not, and then they'll be changed shortly. That's a pretty rough idea for an inspection on a ute. Just making sure that everything's all there, it's not going to fall apart and cause a danger on the road. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. Thanks for watching.